Welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler, here with Johnny. Johnny, what's going on?
Oh, Tyler, I really want to talk about the weather. We talk about the weather? No, I'm just kidding. That's good. How are you doing?
Johnny, we're doing an episode on iam8bit, but if you go to their website, the first thing you see, or maybe it's on our spreadsheet, the first game I saw was Tales of the Shire. So, you know what? Before we get into things, I want to talk about Tales of the Shire. What the hell is this game? I haven't played it, but why does it look so bad?
Okay, well, first off, you should know it's a cozy game made from Weta and iam8bit. It follows you in a cozy environment at the Shire. This sounds really cool. It comes with a cool little slipcase if you buy it exclusively from them. I'm interested. Available on the Switch and PS5. Reach out for sponsorship, guys. What's your problem with this game? I bet it sounds really good. You're going to hear Howard Shore, I'm sure. Or maybe not. They probably didn't get Howard Shore.
Based on how big the budget of this game looks, I'm guessing they didn't.
All right. So what is your issue with this game? Is it how bad you want to play it, or like what's going on?
I don't know, Johnny. Maybe for 20 years now, or maybe just kind of always, I've never had a big issue with how a video game looks, as long as it runs well. I don't like low frame rates, but like artistically, like I love how PlayStation games look. I love how PS2 games look, and everything in like the HD era, like almost 20 years now. I think almost everything looks pretty good. Like, I can look at Gears of War 2 and be like, yeah, this game looks pretty good. It's fine. And then I look at Tales of the Shire, and it looks like one of those bootleg Snow White PS2 games. It's just the worst art style I've ever seen. Like, no shadows on anything. It is cartoony, but also, like, a little too realistic in a way that makes it hard to look at. I hate it. I hate looking at this game so much. And then I clicked on a YouTube video called like the first 90 minutes in Tales of the Shire. And I clicked to like the middle of the video. And the first thing I saw was the guy leaving a house. And there was a horse that was vibrating left and right rapidly. And then he walked a little bit down the road and some NPCs popped out of existence. And I don't know why this game looks so bad for an official Lord of the Rings game.
I don't think it looks as bad as you say.
It does.
But it doesn't look good. But does that matter? Hey, when you buy this game, it comes with a digital soundtrack. So it's going to be really disappointing if the music isn't good.
I mean, if you're making a cozy game, you're competing with Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, right? So, like,
yes.
The standards are so high. Like, Stardew Valley is an incredible looking game. It looks so good. That's part of what makes it so cozy. So does Animal Crossing. The vibes are immaculate. Like, there are games that rip off Animal Crossing style because the style is so good.
I don't think Animal Crossing looks amazing. Maybe we have different standards for what amazing feels like.
So the graphics in Animal Crossing aren't amazing, but the style is. Like, I still think Animal Crossing on GameCube is a really good looking game.
Okay. And would you say this works better or worse than Animal Crossing on the GameCube?
Oh, this is worse. This looks worse than an Xbox 360 launch game. And you're lying. You find me the trailer for Cameo Elements of Power. I guarantee it looks better than Tales of the Shire.
Okay, so were you watching like the behind the scenes look where it looks like trashy because they're...
Yeah, I was watching the behind the scenes. So, all right, what's a cozy game? Like, what do you want to do? You want to run a farm. You want to do stuff with your house. And the guy is just, it's like a 2-minute video. And the guy's like, we've really thought about how you're going to want to rearrange your house. And it's just a 2-minute video of him like placing bottles on tables. And he's like, check it out. You could put this bottle anywhere on the table and even rotate it. It's like, wow, you've done the bare minimum of what every Roblox game probably can do. So, like, you know how, like, Animal Crossing and The Sims and Banjo-Kazooie, when the characters talk, they have, like, that charming, like, and then the other guy will talk and go, like, in this, it's like Minecraft villagers. Like, someone will say something, and they'll just go, yeah. And, like, a single grunt will be your dialogue box. Anyway. I haven't played the game. I guess I can't dunk in it that hard. I was just, this was the first game I saw in our iam8bit episode. And, looks bad. And also, you know what? Amazon canceled that Lord of the Rings MMO apparently, which is great because this means that depending on who you are, the best Lord of the Rings game will remain like whatever your favorite PS2 game was or Lord of the Rings Online. And you know what? I like those games.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, people like the one with the open world one, whatever it was called.
Yeah. Oh God.
Shadow
what was
of
it? Shadow of
Mordor?
Mordor.
Okay.
Yeah, Shadow of Mordor. And it had a sequel even. And if you bought it, if you pre-ordered it came with a little pendant outside the box. Beautiful.
All right, you know what? How about you look at Tales of the Shire and then look at Shadow of Mordor, a game that came out, 10 years ago? Tell me which one looks better.
Oh God. Yeah. Man, Shadow of Mordor looks so bad compared to the Hobbit cozy game.
Johnny, what are you up to? I'm just here to complain about
Okay.
cozy games.
Well, okay. Aside from that, Hobbits aside, how's everything else going, Tyler? The rest of your week is good? Or you just want to get into this?
We can just get into it, Johnny. My in-laws are here. They're staying with me for 2 weeks, playing a lot of mahjong is what's going on over here in my life.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. So, this episode, we are focusing entirely on one publisher because I was looking at it. I'm looking at all these boutique publishers. We talk about them a lot. And are they a good investment? Should you buy these games? Limited Run Games puts out so many games, but you have like Special Reserve and all these other companies. And iam8bit is kind of like more of the art house version of them, I would say. Do you disagree with that?
The art house version of them. I haven't thought about it enough.
Compared to like, say, a Limited Run.
I mean, they're definitely compared to a Limited Run, sure.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean with all these other boutique publishers. I feel like a lot of them do the very bare minimum, throw you some stickers. Maybe they look like they're a little more selective. Maybe not, though. And that's kind of what I wanted to know. And I wanted to look at, if you bought them, is this a good idea? Because people are always like, oh, they got FOMO. These things sell out. Do they go up? Because a lot of these, the print is limited to at least a degree because the games on their website do sell out and don't get a secondary release. Also, they have a lot of exclusive covers that are just them, even when it gets a standard retail release. A lot of their games are would be considered the first print. So I was like, you know what? I want to investigate iam8bit and maybe some other publishers down the line. So this is so you want to collect iam8bit. Is this a good idea?
Is that really what this episode is? So you want to collect iam8bit?
This is a secret so you want to collect episode that I did to you. Oh my
goodness, yeah. You've tricked me.
I have tricked you.
Johnny, it's a merchandise company. It's not even like a game publisher, really.
No.
They have more junk than they do video games. If you go on their website, the music section appears before the games section.
Absolutely.
And just because it's something that is very near and dear to our hearts, they have an entire section of just pins.
Yeah, woo. So they do, it's not like they are completely off video games or something. Most of their stuff does relate back to video games in one way or another, but it's almost as if the video games are secondary. And they partner with a lot of other companies. So like you'll have a One Piece soundtrack just sitting on there and you're like, okay, what is that at? They don't make any One Piece games. There's a Super Monkey Ball soundtrack. Well, they didn't make any Super Monkey Ball games. So what's that doing on there? But then they have soundtracks for a lot of their games. Again, pins, other stuff. They are a company that is related to entertainment memorabilia who also makes games occasionally. They are most famously panned by us for those freaking Mega Man games, Tyler, that, in case you were wondering, Mega Man X is still available.
I clicked games on their website, it was like the 12th one down when you just like browsing all games. They're like really trying to get some eyeballs on that thing to get those out of the warehouse.
They would love for you to buy this. They only made 2,000 of them.
No, they only made 8,500 of them. That's why it's so funny. They overproduced these by like an astronomical amount. Literally, if this was $60, it would have been gone already. Like, people would just be like, oh, that's the price of a game. I like Mega Man, whatever, I'll buy this. The fact that it is like the premium $100 thing, but then they made 8,000 of them is why they're still here.
Yeah, well, here's another like weird thing about their website. So if you go to their website and just click games, a lot of things on here aren't really games. They've got like Muerto Mouse on here, who's just like, this isn't a game. They show you all their sold out stuff. They show you things that are related to games, but not exactly games. I don't know. They've made some choices here, including like the Cuphead Marionette music box and box and music box, but not the game, which is like a weird thing to have. A lot of some of the games are code and box. They're kind of a weird publisher. It looks like to me that their editions for collectible junk do a little better, but not. I don't really feel like they're raising the bar that much, and you can tell me if you disagree with that.
I mean, like, I'm the wrong person to ask on what raising the bar is. Because if you ask me, like, oh, in the past year, what's your favorite physical release of a game? It's probably Balatro. Because it just comes in a Switch case, and they put the cards in the case, and there's no fluff to it. That's it. To me, that's like the premium experience. I don't have to deal with this giant physical object. But I don't know. I mean, I think the Outer Wilds Collector's Edition is probably it comes with a box that has a small backpack in it with like a bunch of junk, a handkerchief and like some coins and stuff. It's like an actual physical, like custom made backpack thing. I'm sure it's a piece of garbage, but it's $100. It's kind of big. I don't know. That's premium in terms of video game collector's editions. Anything that's like unique, that's not a statue, I would consider premium, even if these are absolutely things I do not want.
Well, the Cuphead Marionette's kind of like a unique thing. They made this like Witcher statue, but it's again, I don't know why this is in the game section. Like, get this out of here. They've got some interesting stuff. That they did the Psychonauts special edition. That's cool. They did like another Cuphead with like a statue in it. Not that we love that stuff. They did the Annapurna collection, which, hey, you get a case for your Switch. Cool. Love that. Stanley Parable has like a funny keyboard, or is it a keyboard? And
it comes with an actual keyboard?
No, I don't think. No, it's just. No, they set it up like the workstation for Stanley Parable. It comes with, what is that? The bucket manual. That's what it comes with. And a little statue of Stanley.
Speaking of the premium stuff, Johnny, I would say their Inside Collector's Edition is probably the most premium, unique thing that they have.
It is. I actually love this Collector's Edition. If you don't... Inside, if you don't know what that game is, it's got a lot of critical acclaim. But they have this thing... They partnered with Real Doll to make this silicone flesh monster that's in there. And I don't know why. They could have done anything. They could have like just made it out of anything. They could have gone to anybody who makes latex anything if they wanted it to be latex. But they were like, let's go to a sex doll company that specializes in this and really get a good one.
Yeah. They were like, yeah, no, we need this to be the most realistic flesh we possibly can make it. And you know what? It's probably like $200 more than it otherwise would be, but that's what makes it great.
Yeah. Look, I'm on board with this thing. I think it's cool. They made a decision. Like, the Marionette is ridiculous to me. They've got the Spiritfarer Collector's Edition, which has like a tin box that the little globe and light comes in, so you can like cascade stars around your room. They've done some things. They've made some choices. I kind of like it. And then some of their stuff is just really plain. They also did like the Hyper Light Drifter, where they like code in a Super Nintendo cart thing. Don't love that. Disco Elysium. Are you a big fan of Disco Elysium?
Haven't played it. It's on my to play list this year. But it is one of the things that, like, the higher profile things that they have that I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. So they came with like an art book, a vinyl sculpture, a big slipcase. There's a lot going on.
So, I mean, if you're asking me, I'd say they're definitely a step above limited run games who, when they have a more high profile release, they'll put some extra effort into it. They have like a big Doom release coming out where the box plays Doom. It's like a meme. Like, all right, I guess you put some effort into that, even if it's like a $400 thing now. Or it's probably $666, actually, I bet.
It is $666, and it's sold out, Tyler. It's sold out.
a lot of these have unique boxes. A big thing in PC big box collecting is if your game has a non-rectangular prism box, it is instantly more desirable. And like they've got the Spiritfarer box. It's like an octagon, I think.
Yeah, that's the one where you put the light inside and it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got the Ori box, which opens like, I don't know, it's like a beetle. The way it opens, it has like wings almost. They each thing is unique. They're clearly not using like a factory assembly process. Like limited run games has a lot of the same stuff that goes into all their limited editions because they're constantly cranking out games, right?
Yeah. So, and they have almost 100 games, Tower. I think it's like 97, 98. It'll be 100 at some point. So they're getting there.
Wait, okay. They do not have 100 games. You are counting a lot of numbers. It's probably closer to 60.
Sorry, 96 releases, which include games that are on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
In that count. Okay. Sorry, Tyler. Gosh. So, I mean, I should, I guess, get an exact count. Do you want an exact count? Let me remove duplicates from this list and we'll give the listeners a brief count. But why don't you tell me about another special edition in here that you like or note, or is that it? Do we want to start getting into values, what we're looking at when we look at this? How do we feel?
I don't know. This is your episode. I don't know how you wanted to do it.
I just answer the question. We could make this a 30-minute episode and be like, here is the answer, yes or no, do it or don't do it. Or we could talk about individual titles.
I did kind of block off the games into 3 major buckets. So there's the true indie games where they actually get like an indie game developed and published by the same dude. And they're like, hey, to like one company, they're like, hey, we want to make a physical version of your game. And apparently they partner with Skybound Games to do some of this stuff, which is the company that made the Infinity Engine collector's edition of like the D&D games. It had like Neverwinter Nights and Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. And their thing is they will make collector's editions that are just a box of junk that ships with the game. But
I hate it so much.
So that's just a company they partner with to put out some of these things. So the true indies, you've got Cuphead. Cuphead is a true indie game. Outer Wilds, Sea of Stars, The Stanley Parable, things like that. All right, their second bucket is they obviously have partnerships with a couple of bigger publishers. Annapurna Interactive and Microsoft are the big ones here because they've got like Ori and the Blind Forest and Psychonauts, Double Fine on the Microsoft side. And Annapurna, Kentucky Route Zero, Outer Wilds, Sayonara Wild Hearts, What Remains of Edith Finch. Like a lot of their bigger, I would say they're pretty selective. I would say anything that isn't like a pretty hit game is probably one of like Annapurna's B-list games that's just there because they kind of put out a lot of Annapurna games. What's like a lower reviewed games? Wadham. Those aren't like selected by iam8bit. Those are just like, well, we've got this partnership with Annapurna, and that's why they have some of these lower profile games. But yeah, I would say they are. I think Fangamer is probably my favorite one of these companies in terms of the actual game selection being like very high amount of hits and games I would consider important. And I mean, they really started out with things like, Celeste and Stardew Valley and Hollow Knight. And then iam8bit, yeah, I think they're also really selective, and their only misses are because of the partnerships of stuff that is easy for them to put out.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I like a lot of these games. That interesting. Like, I'm not... Kentucky Route Zero is like one of their misses for me, but they did like Neon White too. Like, there's some stuff in here.
And then, yeah, and that's another Annapurna game. That's why it's there. Yeah, like, I was also like, oh yeah, Neon White, that's a cool game. It's like, oh, it's only here because it's an Annapurna game.
Yeah.
And then they also, kind of a third bucket they have is their physical retro cartridges, which they consistently dabble in, but it feels like they are not going full force into it. Because, I mean, it's not that hard to produce some Genesis cartridges or NES games. Like, plenty of companies make mass-produced releases of these things. But they have put out Lion King, Aladdin, Battletoads, Earthworm Jim, Mega Man 2, and Mega Man X. And they put out a
Yeah.
Garbage Pail Kids NES homebrew. It's not even like a stupid reprint. It's an original game. It's a stupid game, but it's something. They're clearly dabbling here.
Don't forget Aladdin.
Yeah, I said Aladdin. I don't even know if they did both. Did they do both Aladdins?
They did. No, just Aladdin on the Genesis, okay. Lion King on the Super Nintendo. They've done more Super Nintendo releases than the rest of them, but yeah, Genesis and NES have got a few in there as well. They're called the Legacy Cartridge Editions.
When physical media dies, I feel like some segment of the market will be getting the rights to these old games, and we're going to reproduce this Super Nintendo game. We're going to reproduce this NES game, but it's official. It's a reissue type thing, and we're going to make it limited, and it's going to cost $100 instead of. I was going to say $60, but like regular video games cost $80 now, right? So I don't even know where I was going with that. Oof. But oh man, games are expensive.
They sure are.
I mean, they have enough of a foothold in this market. I mean, they got a half dozen releases here. Like, they could keep pumping out more and people will pay attention, but like, I want a company that's just whole hog. This week we're making a TurboGrafx game. This week we're making a Super Nintendo game, and they just constantly churn this crap out. I don't want any of it, but I want to see the company that does it. And I don't know if they're ever going to commit to this physical cartridge thing, but it is sort of a third pillar they have.
Yes. I agree. That's a thing they have going on. So, Tyler, they've got some big hits as far as like collectible value, but they've also got some losses. A lot of their stuff does sell out, but a lot of it also kind of remains. I mean, but as we go along, more stuff sells out than doesn't. So,
that is actually a difference they have from Fangamer. Fangamer stuff, basically, once they get the rights to it, they will print it forever. Like, you could go buy Stardew Valley and Celeste Collector's Edition still, like, right now, and they're the same price. Like, Undertale has been in stock for, like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. Like, it's probably not 10 years, but yeah, it's been in stock for a very, very long time for a collector's edition. Whereas when iam8bit puts out a collector's edition or limited edition, it eventually sells out and they don't print it again.
That's true. That is true. All right, Tyler, what else you got for me? Anything else you want to say about them?
I mean, I could talk about their collector's editions. I want to talk about, Johnny, Disco Elysium, the Final Cut collector's edition. This game, go look at a YouTube unboxing of this game. You will get a box in the mail. You open up the box. On top, the first thing you see is a bubble mailer. Inside that bubble mailer is your copy of the game.
Cool.
Under the bubble mailer.
Love it.
Is your box of other junk. I don't know. I'm not going to look up what it has. I think it has like an art book and some maps and stuff. But when you open up that second box, the box that looks pretty cool, there is a spot within that box for the game. And I'm guessing the reason they did this, it must have been either like they could save 10 cents on manufacturing cost if they shipped the game separately from the thing. They probably had them manufactured in two different places, and it was going to cost them $1 to put them together, and they didn't want to spend that $1. Or it's because they needed to have like different sized inserts for the PS5 and Switch versions, and it was just easier for them to ship it separate. It's a cost saving measure either way.
But at least they built a slot into it. I hate it, but at least they built a slot into the box.
Johnny, let's just talk about the Switch version of Disco Elysium, the Final Cut Collector's Edition. What counts for the set? Do I need that tchotchke box for the set? And does it matter if it has room for the game or not?
So, because Disco Elysium, the Final Cut, was released in other editions, if you want to say that you own the collector's edition, you need that box full of garbage.
Like, yeah, having the slot for the game. Now, what about if the box of separate stuff that comes with it, like the Psychonauts one is one. So you'll get Psychonauts 1 in its own case. You'll get Psychonauts 2 in its own case. And then you'll get the Psychonauts branded box that just has like the random stuff in it. But I don't think there's room in that box for the games.
Hate it.
Like, do we have collector's editions that don't have packaging around them? Is that like a new category of thing that we have to deal with now? And I guess it's not that new, but
It's trash. I blame Skybound for all of this.
It is terrible. Like some MBA at one of these companies was like, why are we making these giant boxes that go around these things? You know, we can manufacture these in 2 different places and then just not put them together. Yeah. We'll save $1.25 on each. And then they sell it for like $150.
Yeah, this sounds good. You know what? I too could go to AliExpress and order you some stuff. Don't worry about it.
Not anymore. Not with those tariff charges, Johnny.
Oof. Hey, too political. Move away from tariffs.
All right.
All right. Look, I did just a factual video about tariffs and just got destroyed, like from people coming at me with politics. I was just like, I'm just telling you what they are. What the hell is happening? This is not me pitching a view one way or the other. This is news used to be reported like this. You just said what happened. Not bad or good. Just this is the thing. Like if it was raining and I said, hey, it's raining. And people are like, you fucking scumbag. I hate you. And you're like, whoa. That is aggressive. I got a few messages like that. It was awesome. People are off their rockers. Anyways. All right.
I'll avoid tariffs for that reason, Johnny.
Yeah, I would advise it. Yeah, people real mad. Big mad about everything, Tyler.
Johnny, as we frequently do on this podcast, I want to give everyone permission to not buy the collector's edition of all the games they like. I think... Yes. I don't know, either Outer Wilds or Disco Elysium, to my eye, is the highest profile game that iam8bit currently has. And I would tell you to buy neither of those collector's editions. I even think, like, for what it is, for how big it is, for how unique it is, the Outer Wilds one seems worth $100. That's like, what, it's a $60 premium over what it's going to cost you to just buy the game, and you get like the whole big box with all the junk in it. Like, great. It's not a statue, which I love because I hate statues. Don't buy it. It's one of my favorite modern games. I will not be buying the $100 collector's edition. It's like $160 on the secondary market now.
What about Cuphead with the marionette?
Absolutely don't buy Cuphead. I'll get into Cuphead when we go down our list here. But I just want you to think, if you were a comic collector, and I don't know, you're a big Wolverine fan, and they're coming out with the special edition of the Wolverine #1, that iconic cover, and the special edition is 2 inches bigger in each direction. You have 8,000 comic books, and they're all more or less the same size, but this special edition one is going to be 2 inches bigger in each direction. Do you want the special edition one, or do you just want the regular one? I would just want the regular one, because that's what all my other comics were. What if you opened up a pack of Pokemon cards and your rare was the size of a paperback book? Like, yeah, it's bigger and more exciting, I guess. I also want it a whole lot less because it doesn't fit in my collection.
Okay, but what if this theoretical Wolverine special edition, came with Wolverine claws that you could put on?
Wow. You mean just like I could get going to Toys R Us?
No, they were made of metal.
Whoa, they were made of metal, so like I could go into adult Toys R Us where they sell that stupid shit to collectors.
Yeah.
Oh, the Mall Ninja shop.
So, yeah, anyways, you have permission not to buy these. They have some cool ones. Did you look at the Eastward special edition? If you haven't seen this, they have a special edition of Eastward, it makes it a board game as well that you can play with the game, which is kind of neat.
You're not going to play that.
You're probably not, but I think, look, there's not a lot of games where suddenly the video game is also a board game. So I like that as a special edition. I think that's neat. It's not too expensive if you wanted to flirt with something like this, but also you don't need to buy that either. You don't need to buy a marionette. You don't, again, if it's your favorite game, if Cuphead's your favorite game and you go buy the marionette, cool. I get it. Like, for all my Halloween stuff, I told you, I want that inside collector's edition. But you don't, unless you're a wacko, you don't need to buy this stuff.
This is really good. This is the kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't know I don't know how much I was praising or dumping on iam8bit like 20 minutes ago, but man, this board game collector's edition, this is so cool. This is next level unique. This is awesome. I don't care how good the game is. The fact that it's like a whole ass board game with the game. That's so weird.
It's
something
cool.
I haven't seen. Oh my God. How long have I been collecting video games looking at the same stupid shit over and over? You guys have no fresh ideas. This is a whole board game with the game. That's great. That's unique. Yep. That's delightful.
And it's not huge either, which is also
I
nice.
know, man. Thumbs up to the Eastward exclusive collector's edition for the Nintendo Switch limited edition of 3000, first of its kind package, including the official Eastward board game for 2 to 4 players designed by Eric Meyer. I am so in. I mean, obviously, I'm not in on this, but I'm in. That's a great collector's edition.
Here's a fun fact. You can go find it on eBay. There's some sellers with like too much stock where they have like over 12, and you can get it for like $40 or $50 or something. So lower than retail. Not bad.
That's fantastic. It's even more fantastic that it is in a relatively small box.
Yeah.
5.2 on Board Game Geek, by the way. It's not a good board game.
No, but they did it. They did the thing, and that's nice.
Yeah, it is. Cool. I would have ignored that one until you pointed it out to me. I'm really happy to know about that one.
Yeah, pretty cool. And this is not to be confused with, there's another Eastward collector's edition that's in like a big black box that if you go on eBay and you look, this is a little yellow box. It's the board game collector's edition. A lot of these games, because iam8bit is like, they'll come out on iam8bit and then they'll be like released in Best Buy and other publishers. So just be careful. I think the big black box comes with a plushie, and it's like, I think it's a foreign release actually, but people, if you're on eBay, it'll look like that.
Oh, it's the Japanese collector's edition. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, man, the second you have 2 collector's editions and they came out at different times, especially, like, oh man, that's the easiest way for me to not care about any of your
Cuphead.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah.
You know what? I'll just talk about Cuphead now. If Cuphead just released a freaking DVD when that game was as white hot as the sun, I would absolutely own a physical copy of Cuphead. Like, everyone in the universe would own a physical copy of Cuphead. But when I see the physical Cuphead releases, not only do they have like the multiple collector's editions and there's like big stupid box kind of thing, I just look at them and I'm like, man, this came out so far after the hype. Like, this was such a huge miss that this came out so late. They could have made a $300, whatever stupid, mass-produced, not worth the money crap, and everyone would have bought it because Cuphead was so white hot when it came out for like a couple years after, and they missed that entire window.
Yeah, but hey, you got a lithograph.
Dude,
and I like the lithograph.
Stop it, you don't like the lithograph.
I do like the lithograph. There was one I liked that I got. I just got one. I didn't go crazy.
All right. If you don't know what Johnny means, they did put out a physical box that you could buy in stores. Was this sold at like Best Buy?
Yes.
I don't remember. Did it include the game or was it literally just a box with
code
nothing?
In the box?
Code in a box. Yep. Our favorite kind of release.
But that's a count. That's in modern times, that's going to be a real release. And we're going to have to go back and say that's the first release of Cuphead.
Oh, we haven't even talked about Switch 2's fake games that they have.
Yeah. We're
entering a new era of Code in a Box.
Yeah. This is Code in a Box is getting real dangerous real quick. Yeah. The reckoning is coming for us collectors and we will have to talk about it. Tyler. I said I was going to get you that list. How many unique games? 64 was the count, but I think that counts a couple of the editions of Cuphead in there. So maybe reduce it by 1.
All right. Hey, I was right. I was pretty much.
You were spot on. Yeah.
Look at me.
You're like about 30% of these are multi, and you got it. So yeah, that's a cool little fact that there are. They got 60 titles. They're doing it, Tyler. Lots of good stuff. So you want to get into the money now? You want to talk about the money? You want to get into some of the overall releases, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, big notable games. Again, this is, if you want to just know what games they have, just go to their website. I don't want to run through 100 games with you and just read you numbers. I can publish this list. I did pull this list directly from their website. I don't know if they have a download of this. I literally copied it and pasted it and reformatted it and manually manipulated this. So this is subject to error of a guy who was doing this kind of on the fly when he had the idea and in between work and everything else. So if there are mistakes, that's fine. You can go check it out. Tyler, you did kind of analyze the Metacritic scores of these games too. I looked at the financials. We looked at how many sold out versus how many didn't. Do you want to know how many games have sold out. And mind you, this is not unique games. This is of all the releases. Because sometimes like the Xbox version won't be sold out and the Switch version will.
All right. You could give me the number, but I'm more interested to know, is it just a rolling window of the older games are sold out? Or are there a bunch of old releases that are like, clearly they produced them and they just never sold out and they're just like, oh, wow, we got to get rid of this stuff?
Okay, well, so 63 of them have sold out. Okay. So, but if we go back in order, and that's why I created this release order, let's go back to here and then what is not sold out. Let's go to available, and I'll kind of tell you.
Boy, there's a big outlier really early on there where everything is sold out for like 10 games on either side of it.
Yeah. So the first one that's available is number 10. It was their 10th release, which is that Mega Man 30th anniversary, Mega Man X. Untitled Goose Game. I want to say that was sold out at one point, so they might have done a reprint on that one because I thought that was sold out.
If it's not a collector's edition, I bet they reprinted it because they do specifically do reissues of their vinyl. I don't think they are opposed to, they're not like trying to be limited run games, but I also don't think they are reprinting collector's editions like Fangamer does.
Yeah.
And Untitled Goose Game is a very popular game.
Yeah. So, and that was like release 30. Yeah. An Untitled Goose Game, if you haven't played it, it's fun. Then you get the Pathless, and then that's like number 34. Then you don't hit anything till their 50th release, which is the Spiritfarers Collector's Edition. And then you have a smattering of games in between. Like once you hit like 50, that are around there, that you start to see them more available. And some are even pre-orders that are in this window. So yeah, it's around their halfway point.
So generally, so to summarize, I would say that most of the stuff available is available because it's new. And then the outliers are Mega Man X, which they obviously couldn't sell. Untitled Goose Game, which they seem to have probably reprinted, I would guess. The Pathless, I don't know what that is.
Yes.
Spiritfarer Collector's Edition. I would guess that they did not reprint the Spiritfarer. So you think that just didn't sell out?
No, so I don't think that's sold out, and that came out about 2 years ago.
Okay, it's also $200 for a game I'm pretty sure I got on Steam for $7.
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be one of the things that we see, right? Is that when a game comes out like this and it's very expensive, like if it's something that's a super hot release, it can sell out. But if it's like printed and then also very expensive, some of these things just sit because they're too expensive for most people to like really get into. So unless it's a hot property, like a big expensive collector's edition is kind of a dicey proposition.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like Spiritfarer is a very well reviewed game, but it probably doesn't have the fans of a Cuphead or Inside willing to spend $200 on like this, like a cozy game. It's not really a cozy game, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm trying to check out We Are OFK. Because that's where it's like really kind of steady. And that was like 2022, September of 2022. So we're at like that point where this stuff is kind of sitting around. Not every release, but maybe they were a little less selective, or maybe they were a little more bullish because during the pandemic and this time, like people were snapping things up. So they took some more risks on stuff that maybe they shouldn't have. And these things are just available. And it's not a ton after that, but there are games. So there's like 24 from like their 50th release on. So roughly halfway through their run, there are about 26 of that. So about half of what they put out since then, since like 2022, is still available.
Okay, I see a mistake on the sheet, and now I'm questioning your data a little bit.
Well, I didn't I just give the fucking caveat guy that I
Okay, I'm curious on how this happened. So Outer Wilds Collector's Edition is sold out, and that's one of their newer things. So how come yours listed as available?
I manually typed this in there, so I probably just pasted that in. That's probably just a paste error.
But here's an interesting caveat. Outer Wilds Collector's Edition on the PlayStation 5, sold out on their website, is available on their eBay store. Secret iam8bit tip, maybe. I mean, if it's sold out on their website, the first thing you're going to do is check eBay, so you're going to find it anyway. But that's a kind of interesting thing, I think.
Yeah. So again, again, it's not like there was a good download for this. I was like trying to be fast because we had we got things to do. We had to get an episode up. But this is mostly correct.
All right.
That's going to be some of my big takeaways. So,
well, Johnny, the first thing you said when we started this episode, which I thought was very funny and I didn't get a chance to comment on, you were like, we're going to talk about if iam8bit is a good thing to invest in.
Yeah. Is it? And that's kind of where I want to go. So just the idea in like a lot of the people who've come in since like iam8bit even became a thing, I think they're collectors, but also people who have an eye more towards investing, like, oh, that we're collectors, but we're also like, I can buy this stuff and it's going to be a fine business proposition. I think more of that mindset exists with this stuff, especially for new collectors that are coming in. So that's where I wanted to go. I was like, is this actually a good financial proposition for people who think they can just sit on games? And I'm going to tell you, you could, if you bought every single game, and if you considered every game on this list a stock, Tyler, your portfolio would have gone up.
Incredible. Buying
Amazing,
stuff that
right?
goes out of stock and has a little bit of hype behind it, it does give you a chance to flip it for slightly more money usually.
Yeah. I mean, there's some standouts in here. Like What Remains of Edith Finch is one that's gone up quite a bit, but not all of these have gone up in like big chunks. And there's lots of stuff that's behind. So we're talking about averages, right? So what does that really mean? Let me get into some of the big losses, like Sayonara, Wild Hearts. That like went down. Also, I want to just say, if it's still available, the price is the price. So that's affecting the average. That means it hasn't had a chance to go down, but also it's been sitting around for a few years, like 4-ish years, 3 to 4-ish years, right? That means the demand isn't really strong either. So do with that as you will. This is not looking at the overall demand curve. We're looking at the more recent releases. Demand is definitely down because they're selling out less often. So when the game is $35 on their website, it's still valued in this data as $35 because that's what you can go buy it for. But if it never sells out, obviously, like you can say that Mega Man is $100, but is anyone ever going to pay $100 for it? It doesn't look like it because there's so many. Like people are going to buy that when it's worth less than that. So
Johnny, the second Mega Man X sells out, that's going to be $110 game all day on eBay.
Yeah, imagine if you just saved that $100 and put it in an investment account. This is your episode reminder that hey, the S&P 500 is still a better investment than video games. So is real estate and almost everything else.
Are we still down? I mean, hey, if the market's down, you shouldn't time the market, but after a crash is still a pretty good time to start.
Yeah. So you could. Psychonauts, that did well. Earthworm Jim 1 and 2.
Hold on. Psychonauts, that did well. And we're pointing to the PS3 version of it. I don't even know what you're talking about here. Are you talking about the Psychonauts
PS4.
2 double pack? Yeah, the PS4
No,
version.
just the Psychonauts version of, because that
so
this
you
had
couldn't buy
releases.
just Psychonauts though, could you? I thought no,
Yeah,
because I know it only came with the collector's edition of
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Fuck off, because this is the important bit of why the Xbox One version is so cool. And I think it is the coolest
they
thing
had an exclusive cover for Psychonauts that re-released on the PS4 and was also sold through limited run games.
So this is only on PS4? Oh, this
Yes.
stupid shit. Okay, all right. So this one wasn't released on Xbox, so this isn't the cool one.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a cover variant.
Yes.
It has a limited run number on the spine. What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a limited run iam8bit double or collaboration. That's so gross.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was only 1,000 of these made.
Okay, yeah, so this is expensive because it's rare. A rare variant cover.
And they had 10% of the proceeds went to a relief fund. So there were some things going on that were making people buy it. It did well. It was a $30 game that is now like $100 if you want to buy it.
That's interesting. Is that the highest percent that something's went up then?
No, What Remains of Edith Finch is the standout winner.
Oh, that one's with the 400%. Yeah.
Yeah, so that one, so I made Edith Finch was a $30 game that's gone up to 150, and this is a number that has been climbing over the last year. So it was at like 100, 120, 150. I've seen it start to go for like 180. So What Remains of Edith Finch, we're going to have to see a reprint of this at some point, because I think the demand is clearly too great on this game when these are the types of returns we're looking at on it.
I mean, that's what makes it interesting, right? That they did get such a high profile game that didn't have a super big print run.
Yes. And that's going to be one of the themes. So like smaller print runs of interesting games are doing well. Like mid-tier titles, like if it's between $30 and $60, those games have a better chance of like doing reasonably well versus like a $200 special edition of game that is a critical darling, but not well known.
Yeah.
Because that's just not generating demand.
If I actually liked What Remains of Edith Finch, I mean, I like it fine, but like one of the better modern collectible games I could think of, because if you look for it on eBay, there's like 6 copies and one of them is graded. And like there are like modern games are very common and mass produced. There are probably more copies of Poop Slinger available than What Remains of Edith Finch on eBay right now.
Well, and what Remains of Edith Finch sells at a pretty reasonable rate though, too. So like it gets listed and it gets sold.
So, and that's true, but like it's a really well-regarded and well-known game. Like you could talk to an average person on the street about What Remains of Edith Finch, and it's like it's only got this weird little physical release.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a cool one. I mentioned that you should buy it. There's like a weird hole punch variant too, which I don't know if it was a convention exclusive where the cover is all fadey. That's the one I bought because it was weird. I kind of would like both, but yeah, I just like this game a lot. It's an interesting game. And you will see that some of this stuff, again, like the stuff that's gone up the most is like kind of the earlier numbers too, like sub 50, but not all of them. Not all of them. Donut Country did pretty well. That went up like 186%.
Donut County.
Donut. What did I call it? Country?
Yeah.
I always call it Donut Country. Donut County. That's a fun game. You've played that game, yeah?
Sure haven't.
You haven't played that game?
No.
Oh man, you're a little hole and you just like things fall in the hole. I play it with my son. It's awesome. You can like play it on your iPad. It's a fun one. Kentucky Route Zero. Here's one that stands out as doing well, and we did not understand this game, and I'm kind of shocked it did as well as it did. Earthworm Jim 1 and 2, the 25th anniversary Super Nintendo release with the pink. This is the pink version, and then they had like that special cow version you could get. Remember?
Yeah, I sure do remember this. It is strange that it did so well because very specifically the Mega Man games, which I would think are like more beloved than Earthworm Jim, did
I thought so.
Not do well, kind of.
No. Yeah, no. And the creator had some controversy going around him at the time. Remember?
I mean, Doug Tenapel is a very polarizing figure. I'm sure if you look at Doug Tenapel's Twitter account, it will take you one tweet to decide whether you align with him on his values or not.
Yeah. But here's the thing. They only made 2,000 of these. So, and like if you look on eBay, there's not a lot of these around. So the people who have them, they have them, and they aren't selling them very often.
Not hot take here. 2,000 is not a small number. That's 2,000 directly injected into the veins of the collector market. Will perpetually be available. You know what? Maybe the stupid the cow print part. That one's limited to 100. You know what? 100? That's rare. If you are some Super Nintendo super collector who has to have absolutely everything, yeah, the cow print Earthworm Jim iam8bit 1 and 2 double pack. Yeah, that's pretty rare. I guess cool manufactured rarity thing. Like that is rare enough for me to be interested in it. If you're gonna like, I'm not interested in it. But if you show me it and you're like, hey, check out how rare this is. Yeah, limited to 100, pretty rare.
But I'm just telling you, it doesn't show up that often. If you go to eBay and look for it right now, you're not going to find many of them.
These were $135.
This was expensive. And that's the other thing. It was kind of expensive. It was more expensive than their other ones too. So they'd done like Mega Man, which was $100, which was like, man, what are we doing here? And then this one came out in smaller print run, but they upcharged a 40% upcharge and it still did well. So I was shocked. And it's not like this is the only way to get Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. You can just go buy the Super Nintendo carts for less than it would cost to buy this or the Genesis carts. So, I mean, complete in box, not just like just the cartridges. You can go buy a complete version of both of these games for less than it would cost you to buy this collection.
Yeah. And it comes down to the manufactured rarity of the print run. It's just that 100 and 2,000 are much more enticing numbers than 8,500. And they sold it at a premium to literally all 2,000 people who bought this. No one was giving a premium to the fact like, oh, well, there's 2 games on this cartridge compared to the 1 game on the Mega Man X cartridge. No, the software on this cartridge does not matter. It is entirely a collectible. And it just came down to the print run being smaller and they could charge more. I'm surprised. This is why like this did so well. I'm surprised we don't see more stupid crap like this. Not to totally diminish it, but like, come on, it is pretty stupid.
I'm curious as well. It stands out as being an oddity, right? Like, why did this do well? Anyways. Earthworm Jim 2. Like, if you want this, I think the minimum I saw that you could pay for this game is $400.
Whew. You better have one because you have a complete Super Nintendo set.
I do. I have Earthworm Jim 1 and Earthworm Jim 2, and they're sitting there. And it's great. Love it.
I don't know.
Another weird one, Tyler, on here. This was a Switch game, and again, one of their earlier releases was Gone Home. You know this game? You love it. It's a walking sim that you can beat in 2 minutes if you want.
2 minutes. Come on. I'm pretty sure I played Gone Home for a good 30 to 40 minutes, Johnny.
No. Like you can literally, if you know what to do, like once you know the end, you can just like bypass. But this is not a long game. I enjoy it. I enjoy Gone Home. It was like $35, but now it's floating around 100 if you want to go get it. So it like did pretty well. And then they've got like a cool version of Rez that did well. So you've got a slew of games that where you are like, you would double your return. Roughly, what is this? 14 games where you would get double your return, and then you would get a 50% return on an additional 18. So 1/3 of the games, essentially, you're getting over a 50% return on if you bought them. But again, there's a bunch that aren't sold out, or even if they were sold out, where there's no return, it's exactly the same. And that's half the catalog, right? There's 42 games. It's not quite half, but nearing half. And then there's the dreaded doing worse, Tyler, and that's about 17 games are worth.
Those
less.
Must have had like Best Buy type reprints or Amazon reprints or something, right?
Absolutely. So most of these had something else going on, or they're big collector's editions, which are only sold, like they don't sell very often, but when it sells opened on the secondary market, so it goes for a little less. So do with that as you will.
So basically, if I go to eBay and I search for one of their games and there's like some random seller that has them new, that game got a reprint outside of iam8bit.
Yes.
If you search for it and there's like 9 copies available, then that game was probably only sold through iam8bit because it's sold directly to collectors, and a lot of them aren't going to just go up and resell it for basically what they bought it for.
Correct.
This kind of stuff in general, I don't like modern game collecting, especially because the best stuff is like not just common, just like absolute balls common. Like will never be interesting. A copy of like Zelda Breath of the Wild, very important, very influential, very cool game, will never be collectively interesting. That's a bad example because the Master Edition maybe is a little bit interesting, but these boutique publishers like iam8bit and Fangamer, when they get the good games, the important games, the ones people remember, the What Remains of Edith Finch's of the world, and put those out, and that's the only physical release it gets, and then it doesn't get reprinted, even if those aren't quite as rare as, say, some stupid limited run thing, the non-limited but still not wide release, those are like the most interesting modern games to me, I think. Like What Remains of Edith Finch is more interesting of a collectible to me than Poop Slinger is, like a nothing game that had a small weird.
No, that's Or their new one, what is it, like Potato Sack Race, which is like the cringiest looking thing on the world, and they're really like hamming it up for that.
I don't even know what that is. That's another super rare game or limited rare game.
No, this is limited run. Go look up Potato Sack Race. We should talk about it. But here's the thing to also know. So what I find a little bit interesting about iam8bit is there's some nuance in the collecting of these. So even though these will be have been released, like say at Best Buy or GameStop or wherever, they have like kind of exclusive covers. So you need to know something about the games. You need to know where the releases came from, because you'll see these alternate covers. Like the Pathless has one, Cozy Grove. Cozy Grove also has this weird thing where you could buy it with like a pin, but I think there was 24 individual pins you could get. So you could buy it with just Cozy Grove and one blind bag pin, or you could buy it with 2 or 3 or 5, and then you could get all 28, which is insane that you could just buy all 28 pins. So there's some stuff going on here. Now, again, they've made some good choices, but there are a lot of exclusive covers coming from them. This list I kind of call, if it's called a exclusive edition, that usually means it has a different cover than what's going on, or it has a unique component like a slip cover, like this Tales of the Shire. I'm not sure if this is only going to be iam8bit, but this one has a slip cover and a special map that goes with it.
Don't buy that game.
I'm buying that game. I'm already pre-ordered.
I don't care how good that game is. You deserve better as a consumer than the level of effort that went into that game to be sold for $40.
I'm buying it. Buying it, Tyler. I'm buying me and you a copy. We're going to play together. We're going to get cozy.
Lord of the Rings Online, man. Free to play. Really, really big free to play game. Great game.
Okay.
Johnny, I think I'm going to make a prediction here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not a good one. I think most of these, when they sell out, if they don't get like an immediate reprint, because everything gets reprints these days, everything gets remade, everything gets remastered. But if like, say for 5-10 years, this is the only release of What Remains of Edith Finch, if this is the only release of Inside, Disco Elysium, games like that, these games will not go down in value. I think when people look back on this era of video games and they want like the good stuff, they're not collecting the full set, like these games will stand out as having lower print runs but being the games that a certain type of collector wants. And even though they have sold every single copy directly into the collector's market, they're just not going to be as available as the stuff that was on Amazon and Best Buy.
No, not at all.
I think this stuff's really good. I don't think it's going to go down. I don't think you should invest. I think, but in the 10 years it will take for some of these games to become like, the exciting $400 games, I think you could have done better in, say, the stock market. But I think there will be good stuff here.
Okay. I like it. I like your enthusiasm for it. Like we're doing it. We're going to make some money. Yeah.
You know what? We've already talked about this on a recent episode. Psychonauts might be the holy grail of the entire series of Xbox consoles. And you know what? Okay, no, because NBA Elite 11 is on the Xbox 360. Yeah. But besides that, there are so few genuinely rare Xbox games. And it's not like crazy rare. There's one on eBay right now. I did just check. But it is so hard to find a rare Xbox game, and this one seems to have genuine rarity on a series of consoles where nothing is rare, and there's so little collector interest. That's cool. I think there's going to be more stuff like that out of these companies.
Oh, absolutely. I think on rate, this is going to be more profitable, but also physical games are going to start to go away. So what is going to happen to these companies? These companies are all going to become code and box companies because they're going to need to sell their tchotchkes because that's where the money is.
I think most of them seem very, we're making premium physical games type things. I think iam8bit, it's unique that you did find some code and box versions of them, but I guess they aren't technically a game publisher. They're really a music company.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they switched to getting the rights to whatever they can and releasing stuff for old consoles or PC or retro cartridges. I think that's what most of the stuff is going to be, probably the generation after the Switch 2.
Maybe.
It will be really weird if Nintendo creates this new kind of towing the line category of products where every console. So like the PlayStation 6 will still have a disk drive, but the disk is your key to download the game. And that way they maintain their Walmart shelf space. They maintain their Target shelf space, but they've killed the actual physical media.
I'm curious if they want to maintain that shelf space.
I am too. They must, right?
I don't know. Like,
that's what Nintendo's doing. They're like, oh, we'll give you physical media, idiots.
Yeah, I mean, only so much as it's easier to sell to moms and dads this way still.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to go to Walmart and pick up a birthday present for your kid who likes video games. That's where you buy video games. But I mean, like, not everyone wants to give a gift card.
Nope. Not everyone wants to get a gift card either.
I wonder if they already know. Like, do you think like the CEOs of all these companies like have the plan all figured out and how they're going to handle their transition away from physical games?
I think they have some knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. I think they have an idea.
I'm sure they have an idea.
Yeah. I don't know how well that's mapped out, but there's something in the works there.
What does Walmart want? Is Walmart like in these meetings like, hey,
well,
you better not pull out of our thing. That's a pretty significant part of all our stores.
It's not a significant part of their store. If you look at what's happened to video game sections in stores, they've shrunk, Tyler. They're going away.
They have shrunk.
Best Buy is like nothing. Most of their games, they have like a section, but it's like a pretend section that they like put a bunch of toys in. Now most of those games just live at the front of the counter. Toys R Us is gone.
Right,
here. Target shrinking every single day. The section gets smaller.
It is hard to get shelf space at Walmart or Target. Having multiple rows, like there's basically 2 rows of video games at my local Walmart. I mean, that's still significant considering it's a Walmart. I mean, it's not nothing. It's not the bin of $5 DVDs.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if that I would call that significant.
All right. I mean, I'm sure Walmart still wants those sales, though.
I'm talking about going to Best Buy back in 2004 and walking through aisles. It was like half the length of the store, and they had like 4 aisles that you were perusing. Okay. And CDs were up in the front, and that was an even bigger section. You were just like, this is crazy how much media is in there.
Big box PC games, all the boxes facing outward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like GameStop's closing, shrinking. They're going away.
Mine hasn't yet. When's it happening?
So my city had 3 at one point. We have 0 now.
You're one of the lucky ones. Fuck you. You have Game Dude, like an amazing store I would spend $400 in every time I walked in if I was living near there.
Okay.
You're living it up over in California.
I'm not. I hadn't even been in Game Dude for years. Yeah,
you don't go there because you don't want to spend money because you know you're going to spend a bunch of money.
I will spend a bunch of money if I go.
Because they have good stuff. Every time I walk into a game store, I'm like, oh, look at all this PlayStation 4 stuff you guys got. Cool. Oh, look, here's the Xbox 360 section. It's under the retro banner. And oh, here's some loose Super Nintendo games. What a great retro section.
Pretty cool, right? Yeah. Anyways, Tyler, I think you can do fine here. Overall, so if you bought all of their games, I want to paint a little picture for you though. If you bought all of their games, Tyler, it would cost you about $7,025. If you had bought all these games, and that's without figuring in tax and shipping.
That's every release of every game.
Every release of every game. If you were like, I'm a hardcore investor, I believe that I'm going to get my money out of this. Okay?
Oh.
Cool.
Okay.
Go ahead. You had something to say to that?
If you're a hardcore investor, grizzled finance man, you're only buying the Switch games. Let's be real.
I mean, yeah, you could slice this down any way you want it. But
I mean, okay.
And that's not true because some of the best releases are PS4 games and Xbox games.
You're right. All right, you're right.
Okay. And Super Nintendo cartridges, apparently. So, settle down over there. Anyways, $7,000, but that's not factoring shipping and tax. So if there are 100 releases, what do we figure shipping is? $6, $7?
Each?
So that's another like, yeah, if you bought one, it's going to be like $7 like on average. 'Cause some of them are collector's edition where the shipping is going to be like $15. Calling it $10?
Here, Johnny, I realize we need to finish this calculation, but if you're at the point where you have to consider shipping when you're trying to calculate your profit, it wasn't a profitable venture.
Well, I mean, you have to look at your all-in cost, right? You can't ignore, you can't be like, yes, and I sold them all for $8,000. I made $1,000. Like, no, you paid for shipping. You stored them in your house. I'm not going to start calculating your electricity or what your shelf space was worth. You're not a store, but like if we're talking about retail space and like what the value per square foot is of retail space, that's like a calculation. We're not doing that, but you do have to calculate tax. You do have to calculate shipping because you couldn't go into a store and buy these. So let's say roughly $10 on average or $7 on average for shipping. So that's either another $700 or $1,000 on top of it. Then you got tax. Put it, what's tax rate? 7%. So, 7 to 10%, you're looking at another, like say another $700. So you're like at another $1,400 before you even get there. If you just did the money that it cost on the website, $7,025, and what you theoretically could buy all this for, theoretically, because these values shift a little bit. $8,788, let's call it $8,800. Oh, you're up $1,800, but then when you factor in the tax and everything, you got like another $1,400 at least, tax and shipping. So all of this effort and $400 is what you're making. You would make 25%. You'd be like 25% above without that. But if we go up to 8,400 as a calculation, right? Versus this it's only 5%. You did this for 5% gains. Now, is that beating the stock market? Is it beating an investment account or just a high-end savings account? It's just so much easier to put everything in a high-end savings account. So I would not call this a good investment.
I agree. I also don't think they're trying to be an investment.
No, I don't think they are either. I'm warning people that it is not an investment. That's not why they do this.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you can get excited and hyped if you see something like What Remains of Edith Finch, and you're like, "Whoa, I gotta start paying attention to these iam8bit releases."
You could definitely like take certain releases and be like, "Yeah, there's some good stuff here," but look, again, if you thought 25% is a good return, yeah, that's like okay, but that's not real. So again, if you think a game is going to sell out, of course it's going to perform better, but not everything's going to sell out, especially not more recent releases. Switch on rate still does perform better, but they weren't the best performers, which I think is interesting. Overall, on average, they are, but PlayStation had some like really key drivers in there. Collector's editions still underperform against what their retail cost is. So be very critical when you buy a collector's edition. You should only buy a collector's edition. I mean, you should really only buy any of this stuff if this is stuff you are interested in owning or putting part of your collection. You think it's a neat ad, then be doing that. Or you're like a weirdo full set collector and you have to pick up some of this stuff. And then critical acclaim does go a long way in helping drive the value of the game, but it is not the only thing. It's a good signal, but it's not the only signal. So you have to look at some other things. Like being a critical darling is not indicative of demand, though it does help. And stuff in the middle of this was still the best performers, these $30 to $60 games, because that opens the door to more people just being like, yeah, I can spend $30, no big deal on it.
I am so much happier to let people do the work of filtering out through all these games and finding letting the market figure out what the actual good stuff here is. Like, obviously, What Remains of Edith Finch, that's the good stuff. I would be so much happier spending, $300 on that? What does that game cost? $150. So much happier than like trying to buy a bunch. Like, oh, do I need Inside? Like, I kind of like Inside. Oh, do I need the stupid Cuphead thing? Is that going to be an exciting thing? Are people still into Cuphead and like worrying about that? No, I'm excited. I'm happy to let the market figure it out, and I will pay the premium. I'll be like, oh, What Remains of Edith Finch is now the exciting collectible one to own. Great. I will just buy that, and you guys can have all the other junk that you want.
Yeah. I mean, that's a better way to go about it. Also, things that are exclusive editions tend to do a little bit better too. Obviously, those tend to sell out more often, but that's not always a perfect indicator either. Because if it says it's an exclusive edition, like a cover edition, that means it's getting a reprint somewhere else. So you got to be careful. It's hard. Overall, you looked at this. You didn't do it for every game, but on rate, the Metacritic scores of most of the games they pick are pretty good. They tend to be well liked. So they're not just picking the junk.
Yeah, I was going through about 2/3 of it, and I'm like, you know what? They're all like mid-high 80s type thing, and I know Metacritic's an imperfect indicator, but they're popular games. And the thing that I found out was the ones that are in the 70s are basically the B-list Annapurna games. It wasn't like they were just picking what they could get. I mean, well, it is kind of that, but it's because they have a partnership with Annapurna. And the highest rated game I found, Johnny, what do you think it was?
Is it What Remains of Edith Finch?
It's Grim Fandango. That
that
feels like it doesn't count.
No, that doesn't feel like it counts. But yeah, and Grim Fandango was re-released too. This was one that came with an exclusive slipcover.
I don't care. Go get a big box of Grim Fandango. They're not even expensive, I don't think.
Well, and you got to make sure you buy the first print of Grim Fandango. They are a little expensive. They're over $100.
What? How do I know if I have the first print? I'm sure
You.
there's some LucasArts book that explains this. I don't know off the top of my head.
No, I can't remember. I have it written down somewhere for it.
It's like $100, and you know what? Whatever. What does a Grim Fandango cost from iam8bit? Grim Fandango remastered. People are spending $55, so it's going to be twice the price for the original big box PC game as your PS4 remake. Just if you want it as a collectible, get the Grim Fandango PC big box.
If you want the Switch version, it's going to cost you $80. So.
I don't care. What do you got? What are we doing here? Go buy it digitally. It's probably what, $20 on like the digital store, and then buy the big box for your shelf.
No, Grim Fandango was released so many times. They got like so many of the mailer CDs that you could just go get if you wanted to buy a cheap version of Grim Fandango. Like this isn't the proposition. It's
probably like free on GOG once a year. Yeah. It's probably like $1 on GOG.
Anyways, that's like about it though. I just wanted to tell people like I wanted to look into one cool publisher that like does modern stuff. Because I think modern games are looked at as like investments, and I don't think they should be. I think this is not the intent of their company, as you said. That's not what they're trying to do. They're not trying to convince you. They want people who are collectors more than investors. That's what their bent really looks like. And they want you to come in and they want you to see that they have video games, but they have the other video game stuff because they know you got that collector brain. So when you see, oh, they've got Grim Fandango, but we also have the Grim Fandango soundtrack, and that's how they want to get you. That's their angle. They're not trying to get you to invest in something. They're not telling you we're limited. This is not limited run where they're like, we are making only 1,000 of these, buy them quick or they're all going to be gone. They want you to come in and be in their store and, they want you browsing everything they have because they think you are the type of person who loves a particular game and they've got more stuff for you.
Well, Johnny, you've convinced me. I thought that, I think probably the Psychonauts Xbox One thing is still the most exciting iam8bit thing to me, but you've convinced me that the greatest investment of What Remains of Edith Finch for PS4 is pretty exciting. I came out of this episode feeling more excited about that release.
Oh, hey, awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
And that just goes back to me liking kind of historic games. And there are it's one of those games, I think Gone Home is in the same bucket, where it's like really an art housey game that feels like it gets more popular than you would expect it to. If it was a movie, you would look at the box office and be like, it made $127,000. Like, that's the kind of games these are. But Gone Home and What Remains of Edith Finch were like kind of really big hit games, considering they are walking simulators that make you think about death and stuff.
And perhaps serial murder.
Like every fucking walking simulator. Literally every walking simulator is just a guy narrating about death. Oh my God, get an original idea. You know what a fucking original idea is? Making your collector's edition Switch game into an actual physical board game. What an idea!
Look, I'm on the fence on whether I'm going to buy that, but it is a cool release. It's interesting, if nothing else. Hey, or you could go buy the Diablo 4 vinyl set.
Oh,
There's 4 LPs, and you can get that. It's $100.
you know what I could
soon.
do? I could never give Blizzard any of my money ever again.
Oh, man. How about Avatar: The Last Airbender soundtrack?
You know what? We don't need to go into the iam8bit soundtracks.
Okay, all right. How about Metaphor Refantasio? I know you like that one. They've got it's 4 LPs, man, on vinyl. Let's go.
So that's $100?
Yeah, that's $100.
Absolutely. Man, we got in the Discord, we've got some Metaphor Refantasio fans.
We do have some fans, and that's why I'm telling you. Oh, hey, here, Hero of Time, double LP, music from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, $42.
I love Ocarina of Time. I need to buy the Ocarina of Time stuff.
I also like Zelda.
Do you identify with brand? Because you could buy product. It's on, do you know it's on 180 gram black audiophile vinyl?
What?
I'm assuming whatever thing you're looking at.
Oh, no, I don't know if it's on that. They did not say. Here, hold on. I can click in. It is on 180 gram vinyl.
Damn!
Green
what
and
a great
purple
product!
Release. Yeah, this green and purple release. Hey, this one has a heart container in the center.
Whoa.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you can get a lot of good stuff. And if that doesn't do it for you, have you considered some fine art for your wall?
You can go to this week's sponsor, Displate, where you can get a printed metal piece of shit for your wall.
Yeah, you can get trash art for your wall because you like trash art.
Come check out our new AI generated stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be great. If you considered Buzzy Beetle art for your wall, or perhaps Steak and Potato.
What are you talking about? Are you okay?
I'm looking at some of their original art. Yeah, I know. How about, would you like a Playmates version of Cloud and Chocobo?
Are you on iam8bit or Displate? Yeah. I don't even know how far the joke is going.
No, I don't know. This is their art prints. It's on iam8bit.
Who's buying art prints of video games? Go support a real artist. Not that people who make video games aren't real artists, but like, what are we doing here? Like,
okay, well, what if I told you they also made pins? Not a lot of pins, but they got some.
They do have pins. They have a whole pin section.
You could get a limbo pin. A lot of their pins are sold out, so you missed out already. These pins are gone. How are you going to get them now? eBay is for you. Okay.
Guys, go to a convention, go to Artist Alley. You'll find some cool art, and then you can meet the artist and have them sign it, and you'll have a way cooler print.
All right. That's it. That's all I want to say about them. You got anything else you want to say about iam8bit?
Well, hold on.
I don't hate like, as much as we rip on that Mega Man release, I don't hate iam8bit. I think if they've got something that speaks to you particularly, I think it's a fine thing to buy, but be selective.
Yeah, I don't hate them either. You know, we've complained about the tchotchke boxes. I think I got it all covered, Johnny.
All right.
Do you like them more or less than limited run games?
Oh, more, a lot more. But probably limited run has got more of my money. So what does that say?
Right. So I think on the whole, limited run puts out so much stuff I'm not interested in. But I bet if I put my top 3 favorite limited run games against my top 3 favorite iam8bit, I'm not sure. I think limited run would probably take it down.
Yeah, I think in top 3, I do love I Am Edith Finch. But yeah, it's going to be hard because they got all the stupid Castlevania stuff that they did, and like just a prisoner. You
see, now you're having me doubt myself. I'm like, did Limited Run ever put out anything interesting? Is it all just like reprints and old games? No,
have you heard about Gradius?
Oh no, you can get the
Have
Gradius
you heard about
collection.
Gex?
It's your last chance. Oh, Gex remakes, guys.
You can get Gex. Hey, here's the interesting thing. You know what I did when I made this episode? I created a checklist for every game that they put out. Do you know what doesn't have a checklist?
All right, no one collects limited run games. It's over, guys. It's all going to 0.
There is not a fucking checklist for this. I bet someone's got one on like Reddit somewhere, but they're like, at limited run, you talk to collectors. Where the fuck is the list of your games? so I could check my boxes. What the fuck are we even doing here? Do you know what collectors do? They just check fucking boxes. That's the whole fucking hobby, and I can't even do that? You fucking piece of shit. Get your shit together already. Why don't we have a list? Why don't I know what the fuck is going on? Why are you waiting on your fucking fans, big air quotes there, to figure this shit out for you? Why do I have to figure out that there's like 32 different releases of plumbers wear fucking ties or don't wear ties? Fuck this shit. God damn it. Just fix it. Why does anyone have to sort through this bullshit? How am I supposed to be like, they're really cool to collect? Can I see the ones that I'm missing? No. You can see some of them are sold out. I'll give you 3 pages. Skeletak was on the PS4. You could go buy that. That was number 499 for PS4. Been a long time since I've been on a big rant like that. But yeah, I fucking hate this.
Just to give an update, the best limited run release list that I can find was still last updated March 2024. We are over a year out of date.
How many games do you think came out in a year?
I don't know. This one has over 1,000 games. It has 1,029 games on the list.
Of course, I bet if you searched by like maybe a specific console, you'd see a better thing. But if you go to the limited run vault and you click PS5, do you know how many games show up? Do you want to guess?
It better be at least 95 because that's what I've got in this spreadsheet.
No, Tyler, it's 7.
Well, they want you to just buy the new stuff. You need to buy new product. Don't think about old product. Oh, you might have missed all those and then feel like you're missing out on them. But we want you to get excited for new product and not think about how your set will never be complete. Before it was like, hey guys, FOMO, we're going to start numbering our releases. Oh, you got to get everyone. But then too many people started falling behind. So then it stopped being about keeping your collection up to date and more about, let's just push where the new thing is. Go by Gradius and whatever, Red Matter.
Yeah. Also, if you click Xbox, it's basically the same games. There's like one game different between them.
I mean, because it's probably, it's going to be the same. Johnny, they get the rights to a game and then print it on 2 different formats, right?
I understand, but like they don't even differentiate. Like they differentiate between PS5 and PS4, but they don't between any of the versions of Xbox. It's just Xbox.
I mean,
Xbox is a wasteland.
I don't even know what Xbox. I don't know what an Xbox is.
Yeah. Anyways, that's straight from the limited run vault. FAQ. Do we have a list I can order? Where's my order? Purple dot. What's a limited? What are our third party? Like that's the other thing. They hawked all these other games that like aren't part of their official count, right? That didn't get the LR dash number on them. What were all those games from? Who were those publishers? Why were you tied to them? What is all
secret,
this?
Johnny? Those are part of like the asterisk limited run games list, but true collectors have all those too.
Yeah. Oh, if you go to the bottom of shop and click on limited run games, this is my favorite thing. So limitedrungames.com/collection/games. Game over. We couldn't find that page. I'm serious. You get an error if you want to look at their games, Tyler. But if you click on coming soon, ooh, that works.
I don't doubt that someone has an up-to-date list, but it's definitely not easily findable on Google. And like the unofficial community list is the one that's out of date. So I'm sure like there is some guy who's still keeping up with everything, but he's just not publishing stuff to do.
There is. But someone is doing this. Someone has a list or there's like 3 lists you could get and combine them and get like a pretty good list. But why should we have to do that? What was one of our big stupid complaints about Nintendo and Sega back in the day and PlayStation? They didn't keep a good list of what the fuck they had. You're the biggest publisher. Fucking grow up and pull up your pants and be a big boy and make a fucking put out a list. Like what the maybe they have some internal documents, but you don't know because if Nintendo didn't have internal documents that had a clear fucking explanation of everything, it's like this shit isn't this hard. We live in the era of database and list and Google Docs and everything else. This is not hard anymore. Like you had to do this at some point. It went into a sheet or a database somewhere. Let's fucking make a list. Make a
Johnny,
list
all
so
right, so I
collectors
mean,
can check
limited run
boxes.
specifically focused on collectors obviously should have a better handle of this. But as many of us remember, 15 years ago, maybe longer at this point, Nintendo did put out lists of like NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Game Boy, I think.
They were bad.
They like horrendous. None of the counts were correct. They didn't even have the number of N64 games right, and that is one of the most cut and dry lists of consoles. And I think they were one off. I don't remember what they were missing, but like titles of games were wrong. There were like mixed in unlicensed games on the NES, but like not all the unlicensed games, just like some of them. Like
Embarrassing.
they don't care. They're not a company that cares about keeping a list of all the games for collectors. Like they had it for like some kind of inventory purposes or like whatever. It was some internal database that they needed for something, but it very clearly didn't need to be like 100% accurate with terms of titles. Like
No, but this
Superman
is a
60. Superman was probably called Superman 64, even though that's not the title of the game. But when you're just giving a presentation on sales or whatever, that's good enough.
So, but this was for collectors. Limited run was for collectors. And so if I want to collect, if I want to go back and think about how to do this, I have to figure it out. Like I have a list of Vita games and I had to like star all the ones that are limited run. So I know all of the ones that were actually made by limited run so I can see them. So like I have the list of all the Vita games. Does someone have the list of all the Switch games? I'm sure they do. But you know, it's like, it just shouldn't be this hard. Like they already have the info. So just making work for people that don't need work. Like, let's just have good lists. That's great. If someone had a good list, more people would be looking if they could go look at a list.
You know what, Johnny? At least if in 20 years someone does get really inclined to go like not just make the list, I'm sure we'll have some kind of list, but to like really document everything, get all the original MSRPs and get like a list of all the contents in the box, because someone's going to have to care about that stuff, right? At least we have Internet Archive, and I'm sure all the limited run games crap is on Internet Archive.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we have so much YouTube unboxings of everything. So they'll have everything. All the stuff is there on the internet. Someone just has to go and piece it together.
Yes. I mean, that's what's there. I just don't think we should have to. I think it should just be done already.
Well, it'll be fun for someone in the future who cares, and It doesn't have to be us. So
are you going to get Potato Sack Racing Simulator 2024, the physical Mega Chat edition?
Yeah, I put it in my cart, and then, I just decided it wasn't meeting my goals, Johnny. Because I do have, Arab steel cars, whatever it is. What is it called?
I forget.
On the PS4, there's obviously very low budget, broken GTA clone. Like not even a GTA clone. It's like the template for a GTA game in like some game engine, and they just released it. And it's like an intentionally bad kind of funny game, but I think it's Arab drift cars is what it is. But did it only come out in the Middle East or something?
I don't know. Was it like a UAE game or something?
Yeah, it's a meme game that's meant to be intentionally bad, but I think it's like a little interesting because it did have a somewhat limited release, or at least it's not as easy to get in America. So it's like $200. And this Potato Sack Racing Simulator 2024 has very similar vibes. It looks like a Flash game. It has intentionally bad box art. But I've already got my Arab drift cars, and that one's going to be rarer and more interesting, so I'm just going to stick with that.
No, why this isn't interesting is because this is manufactured nonsense to be this way. Like, this is not this wasn't people who made it and it was like bad and then it became good because it was bad. This was just like, we're going to be stupid and like, look. And I never, this kind of stuff never resonates with me.
They're in on the joke, which ruins the joke. Like, everything Tommy Wiseau has ever done after The Room isn't funny because he knows he's being bad, whereas The Room, you have the plausibility that he was seriously trying to make a movie, which is what makes it good.
Yes. You've summed it up nicely. Thank you.
Yes, which is why Neil Breen is the best bad movie maker, because he's never broken character like Tommy Wiseau obviously has. If you haven't heard of him, Neil Breen, I describe him, if you've ever seen The Prestige, where there's that magician who pretends to be old and frail, and they go and spy on him after the act. And even after the act, he's pretending to be old and frail. And they look at him and they're like, this is the act. He lives his whole life like this. And that's how you never know that he's actually, this is all an act. And that's what Neil Breen is. I think he is pretending to make bad movies, but he has never broken character once. And that's what makes it amazing. You can still plausibly believe that he is genuinely making the worst movies ever made. Perfect. Anyway, that's my commentary to go watch some Neil Breen movies.
Please do it. Anyways, I bitched about limited run game, which I try not to do, but man, the listing, it really fucking gets me. Apologies, listeners, if you did not enjoy that. Let's move to the next part of our show, Tyler. Let's talk about collector questions and who had the best thing we saw in our Discord and, what we bought and what we played. And hey, if you want to ask us questions and you want a chance to be the best thing we saw in our Discord, then you can join us by going and being a member of our Patreon. For $4, you get access to the Discord, which is the best part, but you also get our additional content when we release it, which is called After Dark. So that's on patreon.com/collectorsquest. Do that if you care. If not, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Anyways, Tyler, do you have a collector's question for us?
Kanakis asks, have you ever faced the dilemma of getting a watch list notification for something rare that you want it, and basically you get a notification for something and you know it's rare, but by the time you get the notification, you don't remember why you originally wanted it? What do you do when that happens?
So you basically your want list hits and you can't remember why you put it on your want list. So you're like, man, should I buy this? Why did I do this again? That kind of thing?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's happened to me. And the answer was probably I bought it because it was on my want list. And especially if I looked and it had been on my want list for a long time. It also depends on the price too. Like I would reevaluate in real time and be like, oh no, who cares?
Yeah. So this has happened to me and that's exactly what I did. So I could think of a couple times this has happened. And basically, if it was like under $100 and I know it's something I had a save search for forever and this is the only hit I saw, I'm just like, all right, well, it's $55. I'll buy it and I'll figure out why I wanted it later. But I also remember times where it'll be like some Apple II game I added and it comes up for $400 and I'm like, whoa, there it is. And then I start looking into it and I can't figure out why I wanted it. And I'm sure there was some reason I wanted it. There was like, yes, the first work of this composer, like something really obscure that I never wrote down and I can't figure it out. And I don't buy it then. Because then I don't know why I have this and I feel really stupid spending so much money on something I don't know anymore why I'm buying. So if I can't figure out why I originally wanted it, I just don't buy it.
Yep.
Also, if you are buying stupid shit like first works of composers, write that down in your notes somewhere. Because a lot of times I'm like, I'll just remember that. Come on. Everybody knows that Cruise Chaser Blasty is Nobuo Uematsu's first game, right?
Nope.
Right? Come on,
Nope.
It comes with a flexi disc record. It's so cool.
Who?
It's only like $60. Go get a copy of Cruise Chaser Blasty.
Let's go get 2. What are we doing?
I've got 3, I think.
Oh,
I've
excellent.
upgraded that game a few times. Peaceful asks, if you had to make the choice between a pristine mint copy of a game and your played but still in decent condition childhood copy of a game, which would you choose? Did we do these questions already?
I think we did this one.
I'm going to take that pristine mint copy of the game, but
yep.
Also because I have mixed in my collection and gotten rid of so many of my childhood games that it's just, I've let go of all my childhood games. It's fine. I don't need, I probably still own my copy of Sonic 2 because I wouldn't have been able to sell it. It was worth $0 my entire life. I just don't know which copy is my copy and I don't really care. Yeah. All right. A little bit, we did talk about this. Wafflefoot asks, download code only inside a game case. Do they deserve a spot in the physical game collection?
I mean, it's getting more and more up to interpretation. I think there are some interesting games that have just boxes that you're like, oh, I've been excited for a few Switch games and I'm like, man, code in a box, and then I didn't buy it. But I always like, Is this going to count? We've talked about this. What does that mean? What is the code but an access point to the game if it's just going to download anyways? So I don't know. And like most of what we do is just put boxes on shelves. So I understand the argument. I still think the game is still the thing, but I hear people when they say, yeah, code in boxes is valid. It's still not for me.
I mean, the thing that our caveman brain is doing, that our squirrel brain is doing, is we are hoarding the nuts for later. And if you're hoarding a cartridge, it is always yours. You'll always be able to play it. If you're getting a download code, it is up for as long as that download service exists. So it is no longer hoarding the nuts. It is renting the nuts, basically. And that's why I feel
you
so
can
bad.
rent my nuts anytime.
Yeah. Thanks for the insightful commentary on that.
Just the lowest bar to cross, and I just jumped right over it. Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of segmenting up, quote unquote, the lists. So I think it's fine, and I think most people do it this way. When you have your list of Switch games, you put the code in a box games in a separate list. I think it's fine to collect them. I don't like them. I certainly wouldn't target them. The thing is, if I was going for a full Switch set, I would buy them all immediately, because that's the stuff that is not going to be easy to find on the secondary market. Stuff that essentially has no value after it's used, doesn't come up used, even though it's stuff that you as a collector want. People don't think to sell it. God, I want an early Minecraft gift card so bad, and I can't find one.
Tyler, and just think, like, if you're going to be looking at versions that don't have the code in the box, and then you're going to be in this dilemma if you're trying to get them after the fact, just get them while they're $10, man. Just
buy them. If you care about that stuff, just buy them new. Like, there aren't that many. So the weird thing is now, yeah, you said it, Switch 2 is going to have like multiple official forms. Like, this isn't like, all right, some of the releases are code in a box. This seems like a significant portion of the releases are a card with a license to download the game on it. And yes, people are going to segment these out and figure out like what's real, what's fake. But I don't think there's going to be many people who collect Switch and avoid all of the code in a box or code on a cartridge. Like, they're going to come up with a different name for it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Key card, they already did.
Like, Nintendo has their official name, but there has to be a blanket term. Like, I mean,
I think
code in the box. Once like Sony and Xbox start doing it.
Key cartridge is like pretty good. That kind of is.
But what about when it's a Blu-ray? Key Blu-ray? That's a key disc? Key media?
Keyblade, you know.
Keyblade? Yeah, that's it. I think it's going to be Keyblades.
Keyblades. You got your Keyblade? That makes me like, yeah, that's a Kingdom Hearts thing, but also that makes me feel very futuristic. If we start talking about Keyblades.
I mean, it's very cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh, I got my Keyblade Switch collection.
No kidding. Yeah. Pretty sick. So, Josh, my advice to you is, one, to make a list and notate these. Also, go get all of the Switch games before people's brains break and realize that they should be collecting codes in a box. Don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
That's it. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Because when they're gone, they're gone! Yeah, we're really
I mean,
selling it.
It's true. It is really hard. I bet, like, what was the one thing I called out? I called out the Breath of the Wild DLC that you buy at Walmart. And man, there's a couple variants. I have like a second variant of that, and I wanted the first print DLC Walmart card for the Breath of the Wild DLC. You can't find it on eBay because who's selling that? Because probably 1 million people bought that, and probably a lot of people still have that. Who would sell their used DLC card on eBay and think it has any value? And the thing is, it wouldn't have any value. I could bid like $75 on it, and it would still go for like $6 because who would be bidding against me on that? And that's why it's impossible to find any of this junk. It's like the kind of thing you would find your non-collector friend and be like, hey, do you have the Breath of the Wild DLC card? And that's going to be like your best way of finding some of this download code stuff, because it's so hard to find on the secondary market a lot of the time.
It's going to be very hard. Hey, Tyler, here's another thing. I wanted to tell you, if you want to really see like a bunch of these that exist, you used to be able to go to GameStop and filter like by low and digital only, and you could see all the games that were just digital releases. And like, but it was not just digital releases. Like you would start to see the code in the boxes once you got to about $10. So you can go and then like you can start building your list.
I mean, let's be real. You're only collecting Nintendo, and people do a pretty good job on that. You just go onto like Video Game Sage or Reddit, and someone will have a good list for you.
It's true. The other thing, an interesting thing that's going on with GameStop. Have you been on their website lately? I don't know why you would be, but
I absolutely haven't. They got some NFTs or something good?
No. So the first column, remember that like they changed their layout of their website. They like improved it, made it cleaner, gave it more of that Apple aesthetic. No colors except for like one band. Trading cards are now the first drop down.
I mean, all right, that makes sense. Someone is just like, oh, guys, Pokemon's making a bunch of money. Like GameStop for the past few years has just been like, oh my God, we need to make money. Right? They're not a normal company anymore.
No.
They're like, oh my God, that's so weird that I go to their website and I see graded cards is the first thing. A freaking graded Moonbryon, and then the banner slides over and it is talking about phones.
Woo! Yeah, you can also just type code in the box, I realize, into their bar, and it will bring up a bunch. So Civ 4 comes up for code in the box for the Switch 2. You excited about that?
Wait, what? Civ 4?
Or 7, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Civ 4 or 7.
No, I'm not.
You can also get Disney's Dreamlight Valley, the Cozy Edition, Overcooked, Just Dance, The Escapist. Man, get these good games. New Super Lucky's Tale, Uno, Advent
so I do
calendar
have a dilemma,
games.
Johnny. I don't like code in the boxes, and it bothers me to no end. My favorite CRPG is Divinity Original Sin 2, and it has a genuinely kind of rare collector's edition. It was the only physical release, but it's a code in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Limited to 1,000, but it's like a bunch of shit in a code in a box.
Yeah.
But it's my favorite one. And I own that, and I would rather own that than the so they like you could just go get like a console version now for $20. Like they have real physical versions, but I would still rather have the code in a box for the PC version that is like the actual that was released when the game came out, as opposed to like all the other ones are like the definitive edition. They're like ports.
Yeah, definitive, enhanced edition, all that.
But
crap.
the thing is, the definitive edition is like that's a real copy of the game, and mine feels like it isn't a real copy of the game because it's bullshit. It's a code in the box.
Yeah, but yours was first.
But yeah, I know. So there is some amount of this bullshit I will put up with for the right game for the right conditions of release.
Yeah. And also you could go get one of these other ones for $20 if you wanted to supplement it and have both.
It's funny, it's like my favorite one, and like I don't even feel the need to do that. I'm like, what? I would look at it and be like, I'm not playing this on Xbox. What?
Now get out of here, Xbox.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
Play this game over LAN. Like games were meant to be played.
Have you considered getting the first printing of the paperback book?
I absolutely have not.
Oh, okay.
I did just go through a run of my bookshelves, and I donated 75% of my books to Goodwill. It was awesome. And I've already gotten rid of most of my books. Man, getting rid of books. No one wants your books. What are you going to do with your books? You're not going to read your books again. You don't need to own that many books.
Have you considered picking up the Divinity Original Sin board game to supplement your collection?
Ooh, absolutely haven't done that. Although I did buy the recent Elder Scrolls board game. Because it is cool. I do like Too Many Bones, which it's based on.
Have you considered getting the Chinese DVD box edition of Divinity Original Sin?
You're talking about the Chinese big box? Is that $300 on eBay right now?
Like 200, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what those are, but you could search basically any game. Like you could probably search for like Doom 3 and there'll be a Chinese big box and it'll be $200 to $300 and like
Yeah,
almost
they're
any
always-
game. And you'll be like, wow, that's kind of interesting and rare. And then you're like, how come like almost every game is here and they're all the same price? What's going on?
Yeah. There's a couple of like obscure, weird horror games that I found that were the same kind of thing. I'm like, why does this have a weird Chinese big box? This is the only edition I've seen of this. I'm filing this under skeptical. I'm not buying this. Always $300 too. Always.
It's always.
Anyways, we have any more questions or did we do it?
No, that's it. The best thing of the week on Discord is that Joe, actual Joe, was on the Video Game Collectors podcast. And he's one of our favorite people. And the Video Game Collectors podcast is full of our favorite people. With Matt Rose and Josh Byerly.
Wafflefoot himself.
Too much video game knowledge on one podcast.
If you are super into Nintendo and want to get deep in the weeds and variants, you couldn't listen to two better people talk about it. And they kind of get in the weeds there. And it is a really good listen if you like that kind of stuff. And I like that kind of stuff. It was good. So you got 2 hours, 2 more hours of content you can go enjoy.
All right, let me, I'm going through what people purchased recently. You know what? Let me do the rundown and, I will rate people's purchases. Clearvis bought the Last of Us PS5 controller. And also apparently that was hard to get and he had to like refresh the website and it magically came back and said, great. It's the Last of Us PS5 controller. Great. Galdius got the Playtronic version of Mickey's Safari in Letterland, which I'm sure is a fine, rare game. All right.
Don't worry. Galdius is going to do better later. He always does.
Kanakis got, and I have it on good authority, the highest graded VGA. This is the highest on the Pop Report. VGA 90 Plus Texas Hold'em for the Game Boy Advance by Majesco.
Thumbs down.
And then Strange got Patrician 2, Sim Ant, and SimCity Big Box PC games. All right.
These are choices.
You know what? Galdius got... Oh, yeah, this is it. All right. Galdius also got a super nice, complete in-box Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo. That's it. That's the game.
No, keep going. There's one even better.
There's one even better. All right.
Yep.
Viva was buying all the Dot Hack games.
Yep.
Clearvis bought RPG Maker. Nope, this is not it. This is not
you
it.
gotta scroll so far up. There was a lot of talk since our last episode.
Eloist got the ActRaiser games graded mint complete in box. Tom Nook got Chameleon Twist. How far up am I going? I'm going to have to start skipping.
You got to
people.
go to 427.
Oh, that's... Johnny, that's like 2 weeks ago. I guess that's technically...
Yeah, that's
whatever. Okay. Galdius again, Mr. Playtronic himself. He does live in Brazil. After years of searching, got a Playtronic Super Mario World complete in box. Talking to other Playtronic collectors, we think there are less than 10 known CIB copies. Wow, very fancy. That sounded sarcastic. Not sarcastic. That is very fancy. I'm interested to know. I don't really have a concept of how rare Playtronic games are, which are Brazilian Nintendo games, or like Brazilian distributed Nintendo games. Beyond the fact that all of them are pretty much rare, but does Brazil have the same situation where basically every Super Nintendo came with Mario World, so the complete in box version is super rare on top of that, and then on top of that there's another level of this is the Playtronic version of the already rare complete in box? Because then that's kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
I mean, that would make this... I realize it's a regional variant, but that's got to be up there as like the most significant game and the rarest regional variant. Like when you like have the intersection of the graphs, like this is so rare, and then Super Mario World is so significant, and it's really hard to get a crossover of having both of those things, because generally for something to be significant, it has to be common.
Yep,
that's really cool. Yeah, you're right. That is really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. I didn't want to miss that. Also, we would be remiss. We were talking about Video Game Collectors Podcast. Our friend Tiger Wolf was also on that. Going
Oh my God, yeah.
on Koei. So also another fantastic episode they did. Again, if you ever want to hear anything about Koei and know his process and like how he gets it and like what it looks like and see his Airtable, man, they talk about it a lot. Super good stuff that came out of that episode as well. So you should check that out.
Yeah, Video Game Collectors Podcast, getting some banger guests. Meanwhile, the Greg Podcast, just getting Tyler and Johnny, like, whatever.
Yeah, who cares? That's the same shit you hear every day. You don't need to hear me again. If you want, you could hear Tyler and I say exactly the same things. I may have been a little bit more bombastic. I think I said that before. It was weird because I think we were talking about it in the last episode, and then the next day it went up. And I don't think I endeared myself to too many people, but that's okay. I don't think I made too many enemies, though. I think I towed my position well enough.
You were always my enemy, Johnny. Let's end this podcast.
Oh, well, you're so enthusiastic. Tyler.
All right, let's keep rambling on.
So
let's just yap here. We're after dark now.
Yeah. No. Let's move it on. Tyler, what did you buy and what did you play?
Oh, I forgot about that part. Johnny, I bought one video game. I know you're going to be really excited for it. I bought an early-ish print of Nobunaga's Ambition for the Sharp X1.
That's
yeah,
cool.
I know. Pretty good. I know
someone
stuff.
Who's really excited about that right now.
So, yeah, I Tiger Wolf got me turned on to getting some more Koei stuff. I'm already into PC-88 stuff, and Koei, all of Koei's early stuff was first released on the PC-88 FM7 or Sharp F1 X1. If you don't know what they are, they're the three most significant early 80s Japanese computers. And I have all these different variants of Nobunaga's Ambition, and I'm just like, you know what? I could buy one more. And that's the only thing I bought, Johnny.
Okay. I don't know if I mentioned these, but I got, did I mention that? I know I sent it to you, but I have no mouth and I must scream. I got that. You into that? And System Shock, I also got that.
You got the CD version of System Shock. I don't mean to poo-poo on System Shock because that's a cool game.
It's the enhanced audio version. People like that version of System Shock, so I don't know what you're getting.
People are wrong because floppy disks are dope. Get out of here with your CDs.
And that I got that from Zach on our Discord. So thanks, Zach, for hooking that up for me. I also got some DS games from him, which are a little less exciting, and a Nightmare Before Christmas for the PS2. And that's fine. But man, the Japanese cover of that game is so much better that, like, once I realized that, I'm like, now I got to go buy the Japanese one. It was right after I had just got my Zen Market order too. And now I'm like, ugh, gross. Tyler, another thing I bought was, I bought this a while ago, but hey, have you ever heard of that game, Shantae?
I've heard of that one.
So have you heard of, they did like a GBA release being limited run? They did one.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I got that because I don't know why. Did that. And I
Isn't
bought
isn't that like what did I hear about that? Clearvis was talking about that. Was that like getting expensive or something, or did that
I think Clearvis just missed it. I think he tried to buy it and missed it.
He was just looking for it. Yeah, it's like $150.
Because it's a dumb thing. And then I got Restless Night. Do you know what Restless Night is?
No idea what Restless Night is.
Okay, so Limited Legacy Games, I think it is.
Shut up! What? Stop naming your is this a joke company, first of all?
I'm not really. Kinda.
Stop naming your companies like this. What are you doing? Limited Legacy. It's like a parody of a parody at this point. These names of these companies.
Yeah. Limited Legacy Games. Let's go. You want some of them limited So yeah. Anyways, they did a release of a game called Restless Night. And basically, it's kind of like a bad Halloween themed game, right? You know exactly why I'm buying this game. The cover of it looks a lot like Haunted House. Like it's definitely Haunted House inspired, like Atari Haunted House, but not as cool. It's like they tried for that
Yeah,
vibe and
it's
didn't.
definitely homage to Haunted House, or maybe it's
Yeah.
not an homage, but it is very similar.
Yeah. So like, if it's not an homage, then like they should go look at Haunted House and then rethink their lives. Anyways, I was like, that's cool enough. I'm getting it for the Halloween vibes.
What is that? Why are there only 2 copies on eBay? Is it because
'cause
no
it
one's
just-
ever heard of this fucking company?
Well, I think they only made like 2,000 of them, Tyler, or something like that. The other thing, I don't know how many they made. Not a lot. It was like a limited print. The other thing is it just released, and I think they're still delivering.
Okay.
And then the one you're probably seeing is the one with like the pumpkin on it that people want like $400 for because there was an alternate cover that was like 1 in 60 or something.
Johnny, the one seller has both variants for sale. One's like $85, one's $425.
Yeah, and this game is a $25 game. That's the other thing you should know.
All right, you know what? Your stupid bootleg, limited legacy games. If you're selling $25 games, you're cool with me. All right.
Yeah, but
the prices of games these days. All right, I'll take some $25 limited run garbage.
So here's my issue with this. So if you look at the cover of the game, you're like, oh, it's kind of neat. I get what they're doing, but like it's made like I don't need this in titles, and this is not just to condemn them. It's to condemn all of these people who fuck up the titles of their games like this. I don't need you to tell me who presents the game. I don't need whoever made this game's name in the title as well. So Chili Dog Interactive and Huge Pixel presents Restless Night. Thank you.
That's it. It's actually Chili Dog Interactive and Huge Pixel presents Restless Night, an electronic interactive fun.
Thanks.
That's it.
I hate titles like this. Then you're like, and then they don't put that whole part on the spine because that doesn't fit. And you're just like, what?
And it's like, what is the title of this game? It seems like it's just Restless Night, but you have this other part in it.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't know, it's actually like, shut up. I don't care. I don't just like, can we just give it a real name?
It's Alex DeMio's Race America, guys. It's not Race America. Fix your list.
You've been fucking up for so long. Stop it. Anyways, that's what I bought. What did I play? I played some Diablo. I know you're shocked. And that's what I've done. Tyler, that's it.
Johnny, my story I have is Harlan Ellison, the author of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Yeah.
His personal website, he had lots of overstock of the PC game, like original sealed copies. And you used to be able to buy them for a long time for, I think, like $35. Oh. And I sent him a check and it got returned to me. And then shortly afterwards, he died.
Oh, no.
You couldn't just buy them on the website. It was like mail order and you had to write him a check. And there was no email ahead of time thing. You just literally printed out a form and sent him a check.
That sucks. Man, that was like 2018. That sucks, Tyler.
It's fine. It's fine. It's one game I don't have out of. I have all the other games. I'm good. I have the rest. All the other games, we're good.
You have I Have No Mouth, I Must Scream?
I don't have that one, but I have all the rest of them.
Come on, you gotta get this one. It's like sci-fi post-apocalyptic horror. I'm like kind of like building a series of like what I'm calling like my summer sci-fi horror games, and this was one I'm at.
Your summer sci-fi horror. Not everything needs to be an Instagram Reels theme, Johnny.
Not everything is for an Instagram Reel, Tyler. Some of it's for YouTube. Because I produce so much content. Well, let's see. The last YouTube video I did, let's go since you're accusing me of things. I feel attacked. All right. I did a reel. When was the last time I did a reel? It doesn't even want to load on my phone. Oh, I did it for Aliens. Yeah. And that was back on April 20th. So like 30 days ago. 20 days ago. Cool. I produce a lot of content. We are donezo. And by the way, if you didn't see that reel or that YouTube video, it's where I tell you that Alien is actually the perfect Easter game if you need to take a picture for an Easter game.
That's kind of funny. You know what? That's way better than that stupid Easter Bunny game you used to post all the time.
I did always post that. I had like eggs. I have a whole list of like Easter games. I want to revisit the holiday list. I've got some good ones. So like, if you really think about Alien, one deals with eggs, right? It has themes of the rites of spring in it and rebirth and renewal. It's got a bunch of heavy spring themes in there that are tied to Alien and to mothers, and mothers are a big sign of spring because they give birth and rebirth. Yeah, it's wild how well it ties together. So the perfect Easter game, Alien. Also, because it's Mother's Day tomorrow, perfect Mother's Day game. And it's going to be after Mother's Day for you guys after that. But if you wanted to buy your mom a game, you should buy her an Alien game. Really a game about mothers.
All right, I'm going to go get my mom AX2 Nostromo for the PC 6601.
That's a good one. I mean, or you could just maybe watch the movie with her.
If my mom's actually coming over here tomorrow because it's Mother's Day. Instead of doing that, we're going to have a big cheesecake.
You could. That sounds exactly like something I think your mom would do. One. Two, you can watch the movie while you eat the cheesecake. It's amazing how you can do something else while you eat.
All right.
All right, that's it. We did it. That's the show. Hey, guys, thanks everyone who supports us, all of our friends on the Patreon, everyone who just listens to us. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye!